talk about financial inclusion, 2023, you have Hisa, which is coming to the market less than 6 months ago, then making some good business. What are you looking into in terms of financial inclusion in 2023?
Yeah, I think what we are looking at is giving the everyday citizen of Kenyan or African, at the end of the day, the ability to invest. So if you look at finance, you have different aspects or different layers. So of course you have the payments, you have the remittances, which is pretty much, I'd say at the moment, built out. So looking at stuff like mobile money, what Hisa has done. But then now when you look at the next layers, you have stuff like lending, you have stuff like insurance, and then at the end of it all you have investments or wealth management. So what we want to do is then work with through our app to allow the public or retail to invest in capital markets, so the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the Nasdaq in the US, and the NYSE, to basically access borderless investments, but also then working with corporates, so banks and telcos, to allow them to embed investments in their offering. So right now, your bank gives you a checking account and a savings account. In the near future, powered by Hisa, your bank will be able to provide you with an investment account, a retirement investment account as well. You can set up investments for your kid and stuff like that. So that's where we want to get to. And I think, just to answer your question, that's how we get more people to be included in finance. Because then once you're completing the circle, you're earning money, you're transferring it, you're paying for stuff, but then whatever remains, you're saving and investing it for the future. So that's the goal of Hisa.
What are you projecting as a player in the market for 2023? What are some of the inventions you're looking at?
I'd say for us, we are looking at how do we build on new technologies like the blockchain and AI, specifically for our use cases, to make our offering better. So I'll give you two examples. So for blockchain, what we are building or what we are doing at the moment is fractionalizing Kenyan stocks. So if you want to invest at the NSE today, you need to buy a minimum of 100 shares of each stock. So let's say which stock? Let's say Kuruitu for now is trading at 1,500 shillings per share. So meaning if you want to, the minimum you can invest in Kuruitu is 150,000, which is out of reach of the everyday citizen. So by leveraging blockchain, we'll allow Kenyans to invest with the minimal amount they can. So instead of you needing to invest with a minimum of 150,000, with your 100 bob, you can basically invest in Kuruitu and own a fraction of that share. And that's what we got approval from the NSE and the CMA to build and launch. And then on the other side, on the AI side, just being able to then leverage the power of AI to give you a better investing experience, so very personalized. So different people have different needs, different risk profiles. So we analyze all of that, and we sort of give you a recommendation on a portfolio of stocks, bonds, and different asset classes that you can invest in. So at the end of the day, we take the hard work or the headache of you thinking, should I buy Safaricom today? Should I buy a bond today? So we sort of structure a product that's very custom for you, depending on your age, your risk profile, so that then we take all the heartbeat of investing.
Absolutely, machine learning.
Yes.
So last, very controversial that I'm not going to hit you hard about it. What do you think the regulator should be aware of this year?
I think from where we sit, we've engaged the regulators and obviously had a very good conversational relationship with them. So for context, for the CMA, for Hisa, we worked with the Capital Markets Authority of Kenya very closely to sort of launch our product. They actually were very instrumental in getting us partners on board and just giving us the no objection to launch publicly. But also we've seen them do a lot to encourage fintechs to build in the sandbox. I think so far they've exited about 12 or 13 startups from from the sandbox, if I'm not wrong. And we're going to see a lot more startups then go through that process of testing your products in a sort of a regulated environment where the regulators then get a chance to ask questions and sort of allay any fears they have. And we're seeing now that being spread across different sectors. So I think 2 weeks ago we saw the Communications Authority put out a request for sort of they're going to set up a sandbox of their own, which is very commendable because they're also looking at emerging technologies. And then, of course, finally, there's also the central bank, which has had plans of setting up a sandbox. We've seen across the continent, the Central Bank of Ghana just went live this week, if I'm not wrong, with their own sandbox. And what they're doing is they're opening up for fintechs, and within 21 days, you'd actually be able to go through that process and basically sort of get a way to build your stuff within a regulated environment. So I think that's going to be an increasing case because we are going to see more collaboration between fintechs and banks, but also fintechs with regulation. So there's this new reg tech field. So we're definitely going to see a lot of improvements around that. And I think sandboxes are going to be a great way for the regulators to sort of also be at the forefront to encourage and to promote innovation.
Fantastic. Last question that I'll be asking everyone. Do you feel as if jobs in the fintech space are going to be replaced by the AI?
This is always an ongoing conversation. I think for me, having sort of looked at or worked in the AI industry, or just being someone who's very interested in the space, I think my argument has always been that the pros outweigh the cons. Because if you look at what AIs are doing or what we are going to apply them for, it's for value addition or value creation, or for sort of doing the menial, repetitive work that can be automated, because that's the essence. So if you have someone doing a task that has a finite number of steps with a clear way of doing it that you can automate, then it makes sense for you to pass that to a machine. And we've seen a lot of that happening just I'd say over the course of history. It's just that in this case, what AI has managed to do is sort of do that with sort of the time element, I believe, so that it's able to do that in a very short time, and there's a feeling that then there's jobs at risk. The counter argument is that we'll always need humans to work besides the AIs, because for instance, if you're looking for, let's say for investing right now, I wouldn't say you can 100% outsource the work of an investment advisory to an AI. There's elements that it can do quite well, but at the end of the day, for you, you have certain elements that you actually require a human to interpret to you, or to have that one-on-one conversation and say, okay, so last month I defaulted on my debt, but it's not because I actually spent that money. It's because I had I had a need from a family member, and then I sent them that money, and that's why I defaulted. So if we are looking at components from a strictly AI point of view, there is that fear, but I believe for me the value will be finding that balance, and that's why ethical AI is a big thing, finding that balance where there is AI is in play, but there is enough for humans to do to still value their job and to still add value to the entire process.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.